what we're interested in this project, which is a research project that we've been engaged in at the University of Birmingham in the Institute for Conflict Cooperation and Security, is to look at the possibilities for developing new ethical approaches within the nuclear non-proliferation regime, and thinking about how far an intrusion of ethics into our thinking about nuclear issues might help us to strengthen the global nuclear order if we can develop public policy approaches on the back of that. And a very important concept in thinking about that challenge, that question, which I think is very urgent in the current context, with uncertainties about the future, particularly in the light of the election of Donald Trump to the US presidency, is the possibility of trying to come to some new international consensus on what responsibilities do states have in relation to nuclear weapons. And that doesn't just include possessor states, the 9 that possess nuclear weapons, but also the non-nuclear weapon states, those that have given up the legal right to possess nuclear weapons under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. So responsible nuclear sovereignty is an attempt to find a bridge whereby nuclear weapon states and non-nuclear weapon states can come to a new understanding about what responsibilities states have. And the reason why the idea of sovereignty is in there is because it's the notion that if you are a sovereign state in contemporary international society, there are certain responsibilities that come, whether you have nuclear weapons or not, in relation to the nuclear question, i.e., should states develop nuclear weapons, what obligations, responsibilities have they accepted, what kinds of nuclear capabilities are they allowed to develop short of weapons? For example, are they allowed to have proliferation sensitive technologies such as uranium enrichment, plutonium and reprocessing and so on, or is that actually something that we think as an international society would be threatening to global security if that was to become widespread? So responsible nuclear sovereignty is the idea that there are certain responsibilities which have to be met before states can be considered to be legitimate sovereigns. And in a sense, it's an attempt to take into the nuclear sphere the idea that developed in the humanitarian sphere of what's become known as the responsibility to protect. So the responsibility to protect developed out of the idea that there are certain fundamental responsibilities in terms of the protection of human rights and the avoidance of mass atrocity crimes within a state's borders that governments have to uphold if they want to be treated as legitimate sovereigns. So it's an attempt to extend that kind of reasoning and thinking into the nuclear sphere. The concept was first developed in 2010 by William Walker, and subsequently it's been developed by a number of scholars, including work that I've done with William Walker and work that others have done as well, many of whom are part of this wider project.